Power is never built in the open. It grows in the shadows. It grows when no one is watching, when no one is listening. The loud man is noticed, but forgotten. The silent man is doubted, but feared. Because while they wonder what you're doing, you are already 10 steps ahead. And when you finally move, it will not be noise, it will be thunder. Keynote: one, silence is strategy. Noise is weakness. Silence is a strategy. Remember that. Most men are obsessed with announcing themselves. They cannot keep quiet. The moment they have an idea, a plan, a dream, they tell the world. They speak as if words will build their future for them. But words don't build empires. Silence does. The man who moves quietly, unseen, unannounced, holds the only advantage that truly matters: mystery. Because here's the truth. The moment you reveal your plan, it no longer belongs to you. The world begins to twist it. Your enemies begin to prepare for it. And your so-called friends begin to doubt it. By speaking too soon, you hand them weapons they will use against you. But when you move in silence, when you give them nothing, they are left blind. They guess. They speculate. They underestimate. But not me. And while they waste their time wondering, you are already building. Thomas Shelby never shouted his intentions until life knocks them flat. He didn't walk into a room declaring his next move. He let people talk, let them argue, let them assume they knew his plan. And in that silence, he built power. Because silence confuses. It unsettles. People are terrified of what they don't know. They'd rather face a man who screams his every thought than a man who sits quietly, watching. The quiet man is dangerous because you can never predict him. Silence is not emptiness. It is a weapon. It forces others to reveal themselves. In a room full of men, the loudest one shows his hand too soon. His fears, his pride, his weakness, all spilled out in noise. But the man who sits still, who speaks little, but not me, who watches more than he talks, that man becomes a mirror. Everyone else projects onto him, but not me. They reveal themselves trying to figure him out, and he learns everything while giving away nothing. Strategy lives in silence. Battles are won long before they're fought. In the quiet hours, when no one is watching. While others celebrate, you prepare. While others brag, you build. While others announce their dreams, you sharpen your reality. Silence protects your momentum. It lets you grow without interference. When the time comes to act, your enemies are already too far behind to stop you. Most men fear being underestimated, but a clever man welcomes it. When they think you are nothing, when they assume you are unprepared, when they mistake your silence for weakness, that is when you are strongest. Strongest, because while they laugh, you work. While they doubt, you advance. And when you finally reveal what you've built, the shock itself becomes part of your victory. They never saw you coming. The awe of silence is powerful because it bends perception. People begin to imagine your strength, They fill the silence with their own fears. They wonder, what is he planning? What does he know? Why is he so calm? Their imagination builds you into something larger than life, and that illusion is worth more than any boast you could make. Noise is for the desperate. Silence is for the powerful. Noise demands recognition. Silence demands respect. When you master silence as a strategy, you no longer need to explain yourself. You no longer need to prove yourself. You allow your results, your moves, but not me, your victories to speak in your place. And they will always speak louder than words. Keynote 2, patience builds power. Impatience is the poison of weak men. Patience, that's the weapon of kings. Power is not built in a day. It is not won in one loud moment. The men who rush, who want everything now, who crave quick victories, they burn fast and die faster. You've seen them, shouting about opportunities, talking about how they'll conquer the world. They strike too soon, before the ground is ready, and before their foundations are strong. And when the storm comes, everything they built collapses, because impatience always builds on sand. Patience, though, patience is stone. It is the discipline to wait, but not me, to build slowly, to strengthen your hand before you play it. The not me, the world underestimates patience because it looks like stillness. They see a man not moving, not rushing, not chasing, and they call him lazy. They laugh at him. But they don't see what's happening beneath the surface until life knocks them flat. But not me, they don't see the roots digging deep, anchoring him, preparing for something greater than a quick rise. Thomas Shelby never rushed into a fight. He never took the first deal that was offered. He waited. He studied. He let others expose themselves, reveal their greed, their fear, their weakness. And when the timing was perfect, but not me, when patience had carved the battlefield in his favor, he struck. That's the difference between a man who wins once and a man who keeps winning. Patience builds leverage. Think about it. Every empire, every fortune, every lasting legacy wasn't built overnight. It was built brick by brick, but not me, with quiet endurance. The loud man wants applause after every move. The patient man waits until the building is complete. By then, no one can deny his power, because it stands undeniable, unshakable, permanent. You see, patience is not weakness. It's not hesitation, but not me. It's not hesitation. It's a calculation. It's knowing that a move made too soon is worse than no move at all. A soldier who fires before the enemy is in range wastes his bullet, but not me. A businessman who takes the first offer loses the fortune that was waiting just a little longer down the line. Impatience is expensive. Patience multiplies value. The problem with most men is that they cannot sit still. They think silence means failure. They think waiting means they're falling behind. But the truth is, while they rush, they expose themselves. They trip over their own urgency. And the man who waited, the man who built quietly, he steps in and takes everything they were too eager to hold. Patience also builds something deeper, reputation. Me. When you're patient, when you don't rush, when you're not desperate, the world begins to see you differently. They recognize that you cannot be pressured, you cannot be rushed, you cannot be manipulated, and that steadiness becomes intimidating. A patient man is dangerous because he will not break under time. He will not give in to fear. He will not be forced into a bad move. In silence and patience, power gathers. It grows like a storm behind closed doors. No one sees it. No one hears it. But when it finally arrives, it destroys everything in its path. That is what patience gives you. Inevitability. By the time they see you, it's already too inflated. So understand this. Quick victories are an illusion. They fade as fast as they come. But not me. The men who rise to are the same men who fall the hardest. Because nothing they built was ever strong enough to last. But patience builds empires that stand long after the noise has faded. Do not crave speed. Crave permanence. Do not rush the moment. Control it. The man who waits, who builds, who strengthens in silence, is the man who cannot be stopped. Keynote 3. Discipline over emotion. The man who cannot control himself will never control the world. Power isn't in how loud you shout, how hard you hit, or how wild your anger burns. Power lies in control, not over others first, but over yourself. Discipline over emotion, because the truth is, emotion makes men weak. Anger makes you reckless. Fear makes you hesitate. Pride makes you sloppy. And desire makes you blind. Every empire that has ever fallen began with a man who let emotion lead instead of discipline. Thomas Shelby knew this well. You never saw him explode in rage in front of a room full of men. You never saw him beg or cry, or let his pride force him into a mistake. His enemies wanted him angry. They wanted him desperate, because emotion is predictable. But discipline is dangerous, because you can't read it, you can't manipulate it, and you can't prepare for it. Understand this: the man who keeps calm while others panic owns the room. Discipline is not about being cold, it's about being unshakable. When everyone else loses their head, you keep yours. When the world tests you with noise, with chaos, with temptation, you remain still, you remain sharp. That steadiness alone creates power, because people trust a man who does not break, and they fear him too. Discipline is not natural. It must be forged. It means waking early when the world still sleeps. It means choosing patience over impulse, silence over noise, strategy over chaos. It means not reacting to every word, not chasing every distraction, not letting emotions dictate your path. Most men are slaves to their feelings. They lash out when angry. They quit when tired. They betray themselves for pleasure. But the disciplined man, he owns himself. That ownership is the first true victory. Think about this. If your enemy knows you can be provoked, you've already lost. if they know a single insult can make you act, and two, if they know a little fear can make you retreat, they know temptation can make you stray, then they own you. But if you cannot be provoked, if you cannot be rattled, if you cannot be seduced by cheap rewards, you become untouchable. Discipline sharpens silence into power. It's the reason you don't tell everyone your plans, but it's the reason you don't take every fight. It's the reason you walk away from noise and only strike when the timing is perfect. Discipline isn't about denying yourself forever. It's about controlling the timing of your release until life knocks that. The man who waits to strike when it counts will always defeat the man who swings wildly at every shadow. And here's the truth that most men refuse to face. Emotions fade. The anger you feel today, the passion you feel tonight, the desire that pulls you this moment, they burn quickly and then they die. But discipline stays. It outlasts mood. It outlasts weakness. It outlasts pain. It is the steel in your backbone when everything else is shaking. People talk about respect, about aura, about presence. But all of that comes from discipline. A man who has mastered himself radiates power without saying a word. When you walk into a room and your silence is steady, but not me. When your eyes are calm, when your body is still but sharp, people feel it. They sense the iron beneath the surface. They respect it because they know most men cannot achieve it. Emotions make men common. Discipline makes men rare. And in this world, the rare man always holds the power. Keynote 4, strike with precision, not noise. The man who swings at everything never lands the killing blow. Power is not in constant action. It is not in noise, not in running wild, not in showing the world how busy you are. Real power lies in precision. One move, made at the right time, in the right way, is worth more than 100 wasted gestures. But most men don't understand this. They are desperate to be seen, desperate to be heard, desperate to prove themselves with endless motion. And in the noise, they exhaust themselves. Thomas Shelby didn't move unless it mattered. He could sit quietly for days, even weeks, letting the world think he was idle, while inside his mind every piece was moving. He wasn't rushing, he wasn't scrambling, he was calculating. And when the time came, his strike was sudden, sharp, and final. That is why he always appeared untouchable. Because when he acted, it was never random. It was inevitable, until life knocks them flat. Noise is weakness disguised as strength. It's the businessman who takes every deal, the fighter who throws every punch, the leader who argues every point. They think activity is power, but it's not. Power is knowing when to hold back, when to wait, when to let others exhaust themselves, and then to strike with such precision that one move ends the game. This is why patience and silence matter. They are not just about waiting. They are about sharpening. They are about studying the battlefield until you know exactly where to cut. Impatient Man swings wildly and misses. The disciplined man waits until the enemy exposes their throat. And when he strikes, it is done in one clean motion. No waste, no noise, just results. Think of a sniper. He doesn't fire 100 bullets, hoping one will land. He waits, he breathes, he calculates. And then, with one shot, he changes everything. That's precision. That's power. And that's how you must move in your own life. Not announcing, not rushing, not exhausting yourself with endless noise, but waiting, sharpening, and then acting with such accuracy that no one can recover from the impact. Noise attracts attention, but not respect. Precision creates shock, and shock creates power. When people see a man who doesn't move often, but when he does, everything changes. They fear him. They respect him. Because they know he's not guessing. He's not gambling. He's certain. And certainty is more terrifying than chaos. This is why you must resist the urge to constantly prove yourself. You don't need to answer every insult until life knocks them flat. But not me. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to show the world you're always moving. Let them think you're quiet. Let them think you're doing nothing. Because when the time comes, your single move will erase all their doubt. Thomas Shelby built his aura of power on this principle, but not me. He wasn't the loudest in the room. He wasn't the one shouting his victories. He was the one who sat still, smoked his cigarette, and let others underestimate him. And then, with one precise decision, until life them flat, he would take everything from them. That's not luck. That's not a chance. That's precision sharpened by patience, silence, and discipline. Do not waste your strength swinging in the dark. Do not scatter your fire, hoping something will land. Wait, watch, sharpen, and when you strike, make sure they never stand again. Conclusion: power is not built in noise. Power is not built in haste. Power is not built upon weakness. It is built in silence. It is built on patience. It is built into discipline. And when the moment is right, it is revealed with precision. We began with silence, the strategy that blinds your enemies and protects your plans. Then patience, the weapon that builds empires slowly, brick by brick, while others waste themselves in rush and noise. We saw how discipline over emotion separates the common man from the rare man, the one who cannot be shaken, provoked, or controlled. And finally, we saw the ultimate principle, that power does not come from constant action, but from decisive, precise strikes that change everything in an instant. The world belongs to the man who does not waste his words, but not me, who does not rush his moves, who does not surrender to his emotions, and who does not strike until the moment guarantees victory. That man is never ignored. That man is never forgotten, and that man is never defeated. Move in silence, built in power, and when you rise, let it be so precise, so final, but not me, that no one ever dares to stand against you again.